Prime Minister Lucia Joseph here arrived in Venezuela in an official visit. In Barbados, local government representative and the ambassador of Cuba and Guyana congregated to remember the terrorist attack against Cuban Airlines Flight 445 and the first anniversary of the CARICOM Cuba Day Against Terrorism. In Syria, authorities reported that the death toll from the terrorist attack on the military academy has risen to 89. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. On Thursday, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Joseph Pierre, arrived in Venezuela in an official visit. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Joseph Pierre, was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Iván Gil. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia is expected to hold a meeting with President Nicolás Maduro to heighten and consolidate bilateral relations and brotherhood and fraternity. They gathered at the National Pantheon Simón Bolívar to make a floral tribute to the Bolivarian hero. At the National Pantheon, they listened to the national anthems of both countries. It is worth mentioning that since the Prime Minister won the elections July 26, 2021, relationships with Caracas has been reestablished. The Criminal Department of the Supreme Court of Justice of Venezuela agreed on Thursday to approve the application for extradition to the Kingdom of Spain of Antonio Ledesma, accused of treason and conspiracy, among other crimes. The process, initiated in August by a Special Control Court, was referred to the Supreme Court for evaluation. After considering that the proceedings complied with the general principles, Magistrate Michael Moreno wrote sentence 333. The proceeding requests in accordance with the agreement in force between Venezuela and Spain signed in 1989. The deportation of Ledesma, accused of crimes that could lead him to prison for a period exceeding 20 years. The Attorney General of Venezuela, Tarek William Saab, informed on Thursday that several prosecutors with national jurisdiction have been appointed to issue an arrest warrant against Juan Guaidó for causing significant economic losses to the Venezuelan state.
Que como titular de la acción penal del Ministerio Público,
as head of the criminal action of the public ministry, announced that in view of these revelations, which have been provided by a federal court in the United States of America, and later we will give the details, where it is revealed that the gang of Juan Guaidó and him personally, using the figure of a fictitious government, in a deliberate manner, in a premeditated manner, caused losses to the Venezuelan state of approximately $20 billion. Therefore, we have appointed the 67th, 73rd, and 74th attorney with national competence to issue an order of prison against them and the respective request for a red alert to Interpol so that this subject pays for these crimes that are now known and disseminated by the justice system in the United States of America.
Likewise, the Attorney General of Venezuela, Tarek William Saab, indicated that Juan Guaidó used PDVSA's resources for personal use.
These documents already public are revealed by the Delaware court, which details that this false government, led by this despicable subject, used the resources of PDVSA to finance his personal expenses, legal expenses, and even forced PDVSA, using the figure of the fictitious government, to accept in its term what he and his gang detailed for an alleged refinancing. By that way, he practically delivered Citgo.
The Attorney General of Venezuela emphasized that Juan Guaidó and his allies organized and performed flagitious acts of government in addition to participating in conspirative acts against the nation.
I highlight the fictitious appointment of the board of directors of Citgo, Pequi Ben and Monomers, fictitious appointment of ambassadors and charge d'affaires, fictitious appointment of a board of directors of the Central Bank of Venezuela. theft of access and misappropriation of humanitarian aid funds, without obviously forgetting the participation in the criminal conspiratorial acts that I mentioned: a frustrated assassination attempt in 2018, the coup attempt in 2019, and the so-called Operation Gedeon in 2020.
In this context, the Polish prosecutor's office requested a red alert from Interpol against Juan Guaido after the Federal Court of Delaware in the United States released an official document detailing crimes committed by the former Venezuelan deputy against the interests of the nation, in addition to the thefts of assets from Petroleum Venezuela, PDVSA. Likewise, it opened an investigation for crimes against the homeland, profit or distraction of money, security or public access, money laundering, association. In addition, that requested international and criminal collaboration so that Guaido may be handed over to pay his sentence, as well as to determine the properties that may have been acquired by the members of the fictitious interim government with the stolen funds. On Thursday, the Criminal Chamber of the Court of Bogotá decided to deny preclusion to former President Alberto Uribe Vélez. The former president, supported by the Attorney General's office, requested the termination of the criminal proceedings against him, even though all the stages had not been completed. The court has denied the possibility and will continue to charge him for witness tampering and procedural fraud. On Friday, Carlos Andrés Guzmán's magistrate who will present the case could announce a historic event, since it will be the first time that the Attorney General's office charges a former president before the ordinary justice system. On the other hand, former President Álvaro Uribe Vélez denounced a conspiracy against him.
The trial began with biases. It was a process that began in the criminal room of the court, and it seemed a revenge against me for some difference that I had with the court in the presidential exercise.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres announces the latest report of the mission verifying the peace agreement with Colombia's FARC and acknowledges progress and incessant protection of demobilized persons. In this report, which covers the last quarter of 2023, the United Nations Secretary General complimented the efforts of the government of the President Gustavo Petro. He appreciated that thanks to the policies implemented by his administration, it has been possible to renovate the commitments acquired in the peace agreement. However, the organization report highlights that the state's commitments to the victims and vulnerable communities must still be fulfilled. The President of Peru, Dina Boluarte, announced on Thursday that she will extend the state of emergency to the historical center of Lima to fight crime. The President's announcement followed the declaration of state of emergency in the populous district of San Juan de Lurigancho and San Martín de Porres, also in Lima, as well as in the several districts of the northern city of Sullana, where she says a disarmament plan has been put in place against organized crime mafias. In the meantime, Boluarte also asked the mayor of Lima, Rafael López Aliaga, for the support of the security forces. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, new days, and more. All studies coming up, stay with us. Welcome back. Honduras qualifies as a historical achievement that the Central American Bank for Economic Integration has decided to support the studies of the Interoceanic Trade Project, declared of national interest. Dante Mossi, executive president of the regional entity, informed that in addition to supporting the study for the interoceanic trade, they have hired the financial design for two dams in the Chocoleta and Chamalecon rivers. During a public ceremony held this week, President Xiomara Castro emphasized that the interoceanic train project would guarantee the economic and social development in Central America, which is why she has given it a special rating. In Honduras, on Thursday, local authorities declared 12 departments in green alert and others in yellow due to the arrival of the rains. The Secretariat of Risk Management and National Contingencies explained that the yellow alert is due to the damage and flooding caused by heavy rains and the overflowing of the Guascoran River, which affected the municipality of Alianza and the department of Valle. They also emphasized that the green alert would be maintained for 24 hours in several departments such as Santa Barbara, Copan, and Ocotepeque, among others. They have also asked the population to take the necessary preventive measures, mainly in the risk areas. The Constitutional Court of Guatemala endorsed on Thursday the action of the Attorney General's Office and the criminal judge against the Sevilla movement of the elected President Bernardo Arévalo. In what some legal experts have described as a setback, the decision of the court to the consultation made by the highest electoral body establishes that a judge of first instance may suspend a political party as a precautionary measure. The ruling also states that constituting or associating to form a political party may be considered a crime. Thus, it was determined in a statement read to the country by the protocol teams of the High Magistracy.
It corresponds to the criminal jurisdiction only in the case of possible crimes under the law against organized crime, to declare as a precautionary measure the provision and suspension of the registration of the legal personality of political organizations under the strict responsibility of the one who requests it and of the jurisdictional organ that decrees it.
Armed criminals set fire to another police station in northeast of Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital. The National Union of Haitian Police pointed out that the police substation in the municipality of Thomaso was set on fire last Wednesday by a member of a gang operated in the Croix de Bouquet commune, where the policemen on duty evacuated the facility in order to save their lives. Another similar event occurred last Friday night to Saturday in northern Port-au-Prince, where the police station of Sodo was set on fire. Later, on Saturday, in the village of Fonaville, also northeast of the capital, the criminals carried out similar attacks again. The government of Guyana and Suriname announced on Thursday that they have joined a list of countries willing to send troops to Haiti under the mandate of the United Nations Organization. The chief of the staff of the Defense Forces of Guyana, Brigadier Omar Khan, informed that his country will add troops to the multiple state deployments without offering details. Later on, the Foreign Minister Robert Pourceau ratified the interest in cooperating so that the humanitarian crisis in Haiti may come to an end. For his part, the President of Suriname, Chandrigat Persa Di Santoki, during a visit to the Dominican Republic, promised before the Congress of that country the addition of his troops to the mission to be coordinated by the UN. The Ghanaian leadership of this mission remains undefined. On Friday in Barbados, local government representative and the ambassador of Cuba and Guyana congregated to remember the terrorist act against Cuban Airlines Flights 455 and the first anniversary of the CARICOM Cuba Day Against Terrorism. On the 47th anniversary of the terrorist act, the Caribbean community recalled the 73 victims of the terrorist attack committed in 1967-66 of the coast of Barbados and rejected any act of terrorism. The ground of Barbados, as a mid-flight explosion of a plane with bombs placed inside, is considered one of the most brutal acts of terrorism against the Cuban Revolution by the people in the service of the United States Central Intelligence Agency. Chantal Onanwawu, representative of the CARICOM Secretariat, stressed the importance of standing together in the context of adversities facing the region.
In the face of such challenges, it is paramount that we stand united. The bonds that connect us must remain a commitment etched in our collective consciousness. Intra-regional collaboration is not just a necessity. It is our duty to forge a shield against forces that threaten our safety and security. Let us therefore regard today as a call to action as we aspire to preserve the Caribbean as a zone of peace.
Geneva Rosin, the Consul of Guyana, used the occasion to express solidarity with the Cuban people and commemorate the terrorist attack committed in Barbados against the Cuban Revolution in 1966.
Reaffirms its solidarity with the government and people of Cuba, with whom we share close and cordial ties. On this solemn occasion, we remember October 6, 1976, as a dark chapter in the history of international aviation and the history of this hemisphere.
While European Union leaders are amid debates on distributing migrants to Spain, over 250 sub-Saharan Africans disembarked 2,000 kilometers away from them. The Salvamat Adara maritime rescue vessel reported on Friday that 277 migrants arrived at the Canary Island coast on Thursday night. According to the Emergency Coordination Center, the full dugouts were transferred to the port of Tenerife, Gran Canaria, and El Hierro, where they received medical assistance in coordination with the Red Cross and the Canary Emergency Service. All authorities assure migrants will continue disembarking 24/7. We have a second show break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at TeleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to set up to date on the world's more recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. The Syrian authorities reported that the death toll from the terrorist attack on the military academy in Syria has risen to 89. The Syrian Minister of Health added that among the dead are 31 women and 5 children. The attack was perpetrated at the end of the graduation ceremony of the military academy of Homs in the west of the country. The United Nations Special Envoy for Syria, Geir Pedersen, condemned the attack and expressed his sorrow for the loss of life on all sides. Pedersen also called on all sides to exercise maximum restraint and reiterated the need for an immediate de-escalation of violence, a nationwide ceasefire, and a cooperative approach to counter terrorist groups. United States, a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO, has bombed and shot down the drone of Turkey, another member of the Atlantic Coalition in Syria. Washington says that during the Turkish offensive in Halkasaka, one of the drones reached within a half a kilometer of its forces and was shot down by an F-16. According to General Pat Ryder, Pentagon spokesman, there wasn't evidence that the drone wanted to attack them. Turkey is conducting operations against U.S.-allied Kurdish formations in the area after the Ankara bombing. The Turkish defense minister merely said that the drone did not belong to them, without specifying any details. On Friday, local media reported that most of Canada's diplomatic personnel in India had been evacuated to neighboring countries such as Malaysia or Singapore due to the increased tensions over the assassination of Sikh leader Hardeep Singh Niggar. The move comes after the Canadian Foreign Ministry reported that diplomats received threats on various social media platforms after the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accused the New Delhi government of being involved in the murder of a Sikh leader. The diplomatic office said that as a result of this accusation, they are evaluating their staff in India and have decided to temporarily adjust the presence of personnel in that country. At least 7 people died and 40 others have been injured in a fire in a building in the state of Maharashtra in western India. The local authorities reported that the fire broke out in a 7-story residential building located in the neighborhood of Koregaon in the city of Mumbai at 3 local time. It was confirmed that among the deceased there are 2 minors. The head minister of the state of Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde, considered the incident as an unfortunate event and expressed his condolences to the relatives of the victims. He also announced the payment of compensation for the families of the dead. Azerbaijan has confirmed the arrest of the former president of Nagorno-Karabakh, Arayik Harutyunyan, on charges of waging a war of aggression against Baku, the capital of the country. The Prosecutor General and the Azerbaijan Security Service have explained that the arrest of the former president is due to the fact that he led the government in Nagorno-Karabakh during the 2020 conflict between Baku and Yerevan for the control of the enclave. According to Azerbaijani security forces, all the former authorities and the military commanders of the overthrown government were detained. In a statement, the Armenian foreign minister said Yerevan will take all possible measures to protect the rights of the illegally detained Nagorno-Karabakh representative, including before international courts. And we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Ana Rosabal. Thank you for watching.